Hello traders, hello everyone, my name is Gregor and welcome to our new video surfing the Elliott waves, where I will look at some of the most interesting developments for this week. This video has been brought to you by Orbex. I will look at Euro, Aussie, Gold, Crude Oil and German DAX. So I hope you had a wonderful Easter holidays. The markets were as usually very calm around the holidays. But now when traders are back after the holidays, new flows can change. Okay, so we have seen some reversals over the past 24 hours. We are seeing higher stocks, and today are also seeing some push to the upside from the support on euro dollar. So let's first start with the euro dollar here. Now I'm still looking for a big ongoing triangle for a wave B before market breaks to the downside. Currently we are testing this very important trendline support connected from 2016, so there's no surprise that maybe we could stabilize in the upcoming weeks, maybe even months. Keep in mind that ECB is still very dovish, but sooner or later they will have to fight the inflation. Also the situation in Ukraine is not getting better, so this may help actually to increase prices even more. So inflation is really concerned here in Europe, and we think that sooner or later ECB will have to wake up, and if that would be the case, then even euro dollar could stabilize. So looking at this substructure, I'm tracking for a wave D within a triangle, so wave E is still missing here. So I'm expecting this reversal to happen. Of course, I'm not calling a bottom here just yet. I definitely have to see something more aggressive to the upside. Now, looking also at another interpretation from a basic technical standpoint is quite interesting, I believe. It's an ending diagonal or a wedge if you want. Okay, so you have these overlaps here, you have these wedge lines, and normally this occurs in downtrend and suggests that actually the downtrend or the bears are coming to an end. So there's still room for more weakness, for potentially even a retest of this lower trend line, but eventually we are going to see here a reversal or a bounce in the upcoming week. So it can be very late to short euro, but still, of course, the trend is down as long we are trading below this upper trend line resistance. Now, looking at the 4-hour chart, I think that this one is also quite interesting. Well, I can count 5 waves up, 5 waves down here to complete these final stages of wave C of a complex wave D within a triangle that I showed you earlier. So we are now at the first very important FIB support levels. There were plenty of stop runs that been triggered here at below 108. So it's not a surprise to see a bounce, but as I said, for maybe for something more important and aggressive to the upside, you definitely want to see a 5-wave rise back towards 1.1 level. Okay, that would increase the odds that we are bottoming. Also, you have this divergence here on the RSI, which is very common and quite important whenever we want to confirm that we are in a 5th wave. Now let's take a look also on Aussie. Now before we go to the Aussie wave count, let me show you this. Let me bring this on. The correlation between copper and Chinese yuan. You can see here that back in it was back in March, at the end of March, Aussie is starting to break to the upside. Also based on RBA comments back then, we have seen a print of new high here, but then market reversed and came back to the downside, and it's probably also due to Chinese yuan, which isn't actually hasn't been higher back then. It was still trading below that February highs, the same high that that actually Aussie has broken through. So now what we are actually seeing here on dollar Chinese yuan is actually Chinese yuan is headed even lower. It's breaking the supports here. Okay, so in my opinion, this could pull Aussie dollar even lower. Even copper is trading still below this resistance. So so I think that Aussie, yes, could see a little bit of more weakness after rally. So if we look at the wave count here, especially on the 4-hour time frame chart, well, notice that there was a 3-wave rise from January lows, and we have seen a very nice and sharp drop, so now we could be dealing with a flat formation here. Okay, so very nice resistance is at 0.75. Okay, so that's the important area up here where this irregular formation could come to an end. I'm not surprised to see this rally. I mean, this trend line held this weakness quite nicely here, and now we're just trying to pause before we may get another attempt of a breakout later this week or maybe even next week. Okay, now let's take a look on gold. Now gold, in my opinion, is trapped in consolidation. Okay, it's here in a way for ongoing. It could be a flat, it could be even triangle, but in either case I think that as long as we are below this recent double top here at 2070, I think that gold could see more weakness. So looking at the daily chart here, notice that this was a very sharp reversal, okay, from that high. So this sharp reversal suggests that this was the first leg of a minimum three wave drop. So if we could focus on a triangle of an ABCDE pattern, okay, then we know that even a wave C should see limited weakness, but for now it's still in the middle of this ongoing structure. So I see prices in subwave B, just be aware of a wave C weakness. Well, even more importantly and significant is this development on the 4-hour chart. This was very nice, 5 waves down. Okay, and then, as you know, we were following this three wave rise. Firstly, we highlighted the resistance at around 1960, 1970, but then much more important one was around 2000, and this has been a perfect retest of that level. Also, there was 61.8%. More importantly, notice that market is now breaking this trend line support and also making an overlap with the wave A. Why this overlap is important? Well, if I would be bullish here, okay, then I should see that kind of a structure, and this pullback, okay, of a wave 4 should not retrace into this previous correction, and this is exactly what happened here. Okay, you can see that market actually made a very nice move to the upside. It could be wave 3 at some point, but then if you would expect only wave 4 retracement and then more upside, well, then this overlap is not allowed. But since this overlap occurred, well, it's just another confirmation that bears are stronger and that we could see at some point a retest of these March lows and potentially even drop towards 1840. Also, keep in mind that this appears to be like an impulse, so maybe some rallies could occur in the near term before we see more weakness here. Also, looking at gold from a basic technical perspective here, we have very nice potential even head and shoulders pattern here. Not the perfect one, I must admit. I mean, this on the left is quite a big complex shoulder, but usually that's the case. I mean, head and shoulders patterns are not always textbook, but still it could be very interesting, especially for more weakness or aggressive sell-off if the neckline is broken. Also, what I want to highlight here on this chart is these parallel trend lines. Notice that I connected the lower trend line and put the parallel on the top of this channel, okay, on the top of this left shoulder. So you can see that market actually perfectly stopped at the upper side. And then you have also this upward channel, the smaller one, where I also connected the lows and put a parallel line at the top. And notice the significance of these levels. Okay, right there around 2000 we have seen the perfect touch, and now we are responding. The bears are responding and trying to bring the price down here. So what we are looking is for more weakness, obviously, since we broke this trend line. Okay, now let's take a look on crude oil. Now crude oil has made some very I should switch to line chart. Okay, crude oil has made some very nice spike to the upside and then a reversal, now slowing down. I'm not sure if maybe wave 5 is already in place or the fifth wave of a smaller degree is still missing. In the near term, however, we could see a little bit of more gains. Why? Because the price, as you can see, came out of this downward channel, okay, with an impulsive price action, and also head and shoulders, a very small one here, could be forming. Okay, so watch out for potential support around 98 and 100 level. That's probably the most important level in the near term for this week, as long the market is trading above this 93, I think that the crude oil could actually see more upside. And the reason actually for this sell-off here in the last 24 hours is probably this futures expiration contract. So maybe now when new flows will be switched to a new contract, of course, we could again see price stabilization here on crude oil. Also, situation in Russia, sanctions. In Ukraine, sanctions for Russia are still probably going to continue. So this is something that we should consider regarding the crude oil, which could easily stay supported here above 93. Now let's take a look also on German DAX. Now I think the German DAX could be dealing with a bigger flat formation. It's a 3-3-5 pattern. Okay, so you see a 3-wave drop for a wave A, 3-wave rally for a wave B, which could move very close to this previous starting point, previous high, and then you see a 5-wave drop for a wave C. So for now, what we are focusing on is on this structure here, okay, on a wave B rally. Why? Because notice that this was a very sharp and first leg for a wave A, and usually whenever I see 3-wave structure but with a sharp price action, I tend to look for a part of a flat formation. So I'm looking this to be a wave A and expecting wave B, and even wave B should be made by 3 waves. So even if I think that we are going to see choppy and even at some point lower price action here on DAX, I still think that in the near future there is room for more upside. Here is wave B as a set, and looking at the 4-hour chart, I'm actually tracking first 5 waves up for a wave A that is part of that higher degree wave B, and now you are in a complex corrective retracement. So maybe the support has already been established here, or maybe there will be another retest of 13,600. However, I think that sooner or later this German DAX will find some very interesting buyers. But of course, just be aware that much ideal and better support is definitely lower here, around the 61.8%, and then you also have this former wave 4 of a higher degree. Okay, traders, thank you very much for your attention. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and talk to you soon. Bye.